Davis swings, long drive left field. Steinmetz back, looks up, and adios! Into the home run porch. Brennen Davis belts home run number 3.
Hi, everyone. This is Darin Pritchett, voice of the South Bend Cubs. Really looking forward to get back into the broadcast booth in the spring of 2021 to bring you South Bend Cubs baseball once again. In the meantime, we're going to set up a series of interviews with former South Bend Cub players to give you a little off-season feel, what they're up to right now and how they've dealt with being a baseball player during the pandemic. And what a start we're going to have tonight as we begin the series with a conversation with Brennen Davis. He is considered one of the top prospects in the Chicago Cubs system, 21-year-old outfielder. He was a part of the Chicago Cubs alternate training site in South Bend in the summer of 2020, and of course, a part of the 2019 Midwest League champion South Bend Cubs. In 50 games, he hit .305 with a .381 on base percentage and 8 home runs. Well, first off, Brennen, great to see you once again, and thank you so much for taking the time to visit with us.
Of course. Thanks for having me. Always a pleasure.
Let's go back to March when the South Bend Cubs came out to Arizona. You had the opportunity to be handed your Midwest League championship ring. And from what I understand, the players were pretty impressed with the bling that you guys received. What was your reaction when you got your first look at that ring?
I mean, the ring was unbelievable. Andrew Berlin did an awesome job with it. Everybody in the clubhouse was so mad. The guys that weren't on the team, it's the best.
Well, you've already achieved a lot as an individual in the game of baseball, but I'm wondering from a team standpoint, I know you had great success in high school with your high school team, but where does that 2019 championship season with the South Bend Cubs rate so far and what you've accomplished in baseball?
You know what? I think that's like my first big team win. Like I've won in Little League or something, junior high maybe, but something that actually mattered. That was the first baseball championship that I've won or been a part of. So that was awesome.
It probably has to be extra special because I feel like there were a couple of points late in that year where it didn't look like you were going to be back on the field as you were dealing with a couple of injuries. And then all of a sudden you're working out, you get into the lineup the final day of the regular season, and then you have a huge playoffs. So probably has to be a little more rewarding considering you almost were not a part of that playoff run.
Yeah. I mean, I would have been there for the guys regardless, that the 12th man, I'm there. But, to be able to contribute and help the team win in the playoffs was all I could ask for, especially coming off some nitpicky injuries that I couldn't really avoid, but being able to jump back in the lineup and have some success and help the team win was all I could ask for.
So let's go back to March again. You get the championship ring, and not too long after, the pandemic hits. And you go from you're probably mentally prepared for the start of a new season and a new challenge. And all of a sudden, you're packing up and going home. What was that experience like for you?
I know we got sent home one of the days I was supposed to go up and be in a big league camp for the day, to fill a spot. And, it's just too bad because I look forward to those days. But, going into spring training, I was ready for a full year. Everybody was amped up, especially coming off a championship. You're ready to go face new challenges, battle, and do it all over again, honestly. So when it got shut down, we were all kind of bummed, but there's nothing you could really do about it. Everybody was going through the same struggles.
So probably the last thing on your mind was you were going to be back in South Bend in 2020 after spending, the championship year in 2019. You probably thought you were going to be in Myrtle Beach and maybe in Tennessee later on in the 2020 campaign. But you end up back in South Bend at the Chicago Cubs alternate sites. Not every minor league top prospect had the chance to go to it. What did you gain from that experience?
Oh, yeah, I was very fortunate to be able to be a part of that. That really was a big step in my development. I thought being able to play guys that were in AA, AAA, up and down from the big leagues day in and day out, and be able to face that competition, the experience, the way they sequence pitching, and just to be able to pick the hitter's brains was way more valuable than what I would have gotten in high A or wherever I would have went. So development wise, I thought I had a great development year because I got something that I normally wouldn't have.
What was it like to be a player? Like, give us an example. What was a day in the life of a player at the alternate side? Because it sounds like you didn't necessarily get to have a lot of games because there weren't enough players all the time.
Yeah, day in the life. So we'd probably show up to the field around 10 every day. There's some changes where we would have like night practices to get under the lights, or like early morning practices if there was a kids camp. But we'd show up, we would COVID test every other day. So we did the spit one, so it was okay. It wasn't that bad. We would go straight into your correctives in the training room, make sure your body's right, because they didn't want to bang anybody up at the alternate site because they wanted everybody fresh in case they got called up. So we had a pretty strict regime on that, and then that would go straight into early work in the cages. We would work with Valeka and all the guys that worked with the hitting up there. And so we got a lot of one-on-one attention, which I really enjoyed, with like some of those coordinators that you would only see for like a week out of the month usually. So that was really nice. But from there, we would go to team stretch, and then either like a base running drill or defense. The pitchers would do like PFPs or something like the little skills of baseball. And then we would do defense, team defense. And then we would go straight into BP, and then we would take a break, and then we would go straight into live ABs. So that was kind of what every day looked like, probably like 3 to 5 hours of time at the field, doing stuff, getting better, and kind of working on everything we could, like that was permitted.
I was just thinking the last few years with South Bend, we've had some pretty interesting rehab assignments. Dexter Fowler, Yu Darvish, Ben Zobrist, just to name a couple. And I know as players, you get a little opportunity to spend some time with them and talk to them about the game. At the alternate side, I believe Chris Bryant was there for at least a day or two. Do you have a chance to talk to him, or do you watch how he goes through batting practice or anything, trying to pick up anything from a player like that?
Yeah, of course. You watch how they go through their early work and how they go about their business, and you take notes because he's a player that's done it, and that's where everybody wants to be. So you build off of what you see from him and work it into your routine, and how he doesn't take any rep for granted. Everything is so strategical, and it's awesome to watch. So I mean, it's like, when you hear that KB's coming down, it's almost like, whoa, KB's coming down. But it's awesome. You talk to him, he's just a normal dude. Everybody is. But it's still the star factor of Chris Bryant.
You know, just being around you for part of that 2019 season, I got the impression you are very level-headed. Things don't really affect you if people compliment you. So I'm going to throw this at you. You look at MLB Pipeline, they have you as the 72nd best prospect in all of baseball, which is a great achievement since you've only completed low-A baseball so far. You're the number 2 prospect in the Cubs system, according to that website. Do you pay any attention to that stuff? Do you take any pride in hearing that?
Well, let's see. I feel like all those rankings are just opinions, and their opinions really don't matter because they don't make the decision if I make it to the big leagues or not. So it's nice to be appreciated and valued because it's a testament to the hard work that I put in and people are noticing. But rankings wise, I don't really care that much because honestly, at the end of the day, you got to produce every day, and your rankings aren't going to get you or keep you in the big leagues.
I read an article recently on you, and I got the impression before you came to South Bend in 2019, someone in the Cubs organization moved you away from the plate just a little bit. I was wondering, is that story accurate? And what was the goal of moving you off the plate a little more? And how much has that led to what you did offensively in South Bend that year?
Yeah, so I was definitely toying with some stuff that off season. So moving me off the plate, their goal was to free my hands up a little bit so I don't get tied up as much, and I can use my long levers to really impact the baseball and get it in the air and elevate it, because everybody loves home runs. But no, I think I think that and some other mechanical tweaks really helped me have a good year.
So this might be an odd question, but if you were Brennen Davis at age 12 or 13, if I would have said to you, do you think you'll be a college basketball player at age 21 or a minor league baseball player, which do you think you probably would have said back then?
I probably 95% of the time would have said college basketball player. But hey, I don't hate where I'm at right now.
What changed that thought in your mind?
I don't know. Like, I loved them both. I loved basketball and baseball, but basketball was just more exciting to play a little bit.
Sure.
I love the adrenaline and how into it fans get, because they're so much closer to the action. So you just hear them more and you're more involved. And I kind of liked how one guy could kind of take over the game. But baseball has the factor of how you need to rely on your teammates, because one person can't do it. So I also like that. So they're completely opposite sports if you think about it, because you're just sitting around waiting for a ball in the outfield, or you're running back and forth in basketball. So I don't know. I love baseball, and that's never going to change, but basketball is definitely more exciting to play. So little Brennen would have said basketball.
Speaking of decisions, a few years ago, you had the opportunity to go to college, I believe, to go to Miami and play. You also get drafted by the Chicago Cubs. I can only imagine how difficult of a decision that is. Now you're sitting here getting ready for your 2021 minor league baseball season. How well has this all turned out for you?
Yeah, I think I made a lot of good decisions, honestly, because if I go to college right now with COVID, I mean, who could have predicted COVID? But I'm still in college. It's my junior year. It's my draft year, and they don't even know if they're going to have a season yet. So I'm extremely happy where I'm at. I think I'm in a great spot, and my game feels great. I went and hit today. Swing feels good, and I think I'm on the right track.
So what are the goals for Brennen Davis in 2021?
My goals are the same as they are every year. Start at one level and end at another, hopefully higher.
I know baseball players, like all people in sports, it's all about the process and not the result.
Yeah.
But beyond the process, do you ever just imagine yourself what might be down the road for you?
Yeah, I imagine it all the time. Whenever I feel a little anxious, I'm like, you need to control this, because one day there's going to be a lot more people and there's going to be a lot bigger situation. So I'm definitely getting myself ready for situations like that, and definitely down the road, I want to be a big leaguer. So that's the goal in mind, and I'm going to do anything I can to get there.
Final question for you. You just picked up the game of golf, and so I think you know how humbling the sport can be at times, but there's nothing like when you hit that one shot perfect.
Oh my God. It's just like, gosh, I am so good at golf. And then you just you're next.
So is there any comparison to hitting that perfect golf shot, but also in baseball, connecting on one right in the sweet spot and hitting one over the fence?
See, I think the reason that golf is so satisfying is because you can hit a lot of good shots, but you only get 4 at bats.
True.
So, I mean, your ratio is just better. But no, it's pretty equal feeling when you connect to a baseball, or you stripe an iron or pipe a drive or something like that. You just walk around with your chest puffed and you're just feeling good.
Well, Brennen, it was great to catch up with you, and I know I speak on behalf of the South Bend Cubs organization and the fan base. We were thrilled to have you in South Bend. In 2019, you'll always be a part of our community as that Midwest League championship outfielder for the South Bend Cubs, and we can't wait to see what's ahead in your future.
Thank you. Thanks for having me on. And I do have to say that South Bend was not the same without South Bend fans, so they need to be back in 2021.
Fantastic. Brennen, thank you so much. Good luck this year.
I appreciate it.
We hope you enjoyed our conversation with Chicago Cubs outfield prospect Brennen Davis. We'll have more interviews coming up in the coming weeks, so stay tuned to the South Bend Cubs social media channels.